Hi, welcome. This is Dr. John DeMartini. This is one of the most amazing and inspiring shows that you can listen into. If you want to be on the edge of your seats, if you want to open up your heart, if you want to expand your mind, and you want to meet incredible people, stay tuned because you're just about to experience a transformative radio show that will change your life. And you're listening to the Dr. Pat Show that's coming up right next.
Welcome to the Dr. Pat Show. Talk radio to thrive by. Powerful, inspiring, and coming to you live, bringing you stories of people like you and me, busting through and living life full out. Get ready to dare to wonder what your life would be like if you knew you could not fail. Hey, everybody, welcome. It's so great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Bye-bye, Miss American Pie. Took the levee to the levee and the levee was dry. The day that Facebook died. Yes, that's what's happening today. Who knew? Well, it's a good reminder for all of us. Yes, if you're wondering, all right, I'm listening, there's no Facebook or there is a Facebook or yes, like all technology. Now, let me just come out. Let's just come out and say it. Like all technology, it is run by machines, but it is created by the people. And until we enter the realm of the Terminator generation or era, if that ever happens, we live in this interesting world. And yes, it isn't just Facebook. For those of you that have been emailing us and wondering about the threesome, it is Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, and they're all part of one organization or apparently one big major power outage. And I love that as a metaphor for today's show with Mary Jane Mack, because, you know, one of the things that we think sometimes is that we think about invincibility or invulnerability. And we think about the fact that here we are and we get information that comes through and we just can't seem to muster up enough of much about anything. This morning, I want to just say this because we're getting ready to talk about something that Mary Jane talked about a week or so ago. And that is brain tapping or brain tap. And the brain tap, for those of you familiar with brain tap, Jamie's going to put a whole lot of things up here. One of the things that happens is how do you relax, reboot, revitalize your brain's peak potential? For those of you that don't know who Mary Jane Mack is, she has been helping people all over the world for most of her adult life. When she became a registered nurse and she worked in labor and delivery and surgical recovery, she understood what it was like to be in the middle of that, both in Chicago and the Seattle area. And, you know, one day, like many of us, you get introduced or you get knowledge about this other health field that is growing. Now, many people used to call it alternative. It's not really that anymore. It is holistic health. It is looking at every aspect of who we are. And for so long in the health industry, our minds were left out of the conversation. And there were some people that brought it to the forefront, you know, people that we know have been out in front of this. But just like any technology, Facebook, Instagram, your WhatsApp's not working either. There comes a point in time where you get to the place of just having too many circuits going on it too much. And I don't know the reason that Facebook crashed, but I will tell you the words that being used is an outage. And right before an outage, right, there usually are signs of things for human beings. Right before you get to the outage place, there are signs. There are mental and emotional burnout. There's exhaustions. There are many things that happen. But Mary Jane has been helping us all understand the holistic aspect of the body and the mind and the spirit. and what our emotional, mental, and spiritual selves have got to do with any of it. Mary Jane Mack is my very special guest today, the host of the Mary Jane Mack Show. And today we're going to be talking about what it is we can do to help ourselves. Mary Jane, it's great to have you here.
It's great to be here. What a perfect day for a power outage, huh? Does that fit or what?
It's fascinating because I think Jamie caught it first here, but you don't believe ever that something like that is happening. But here's what's interesting. I want to ask you about this, and then we're going to talk about the brain tap. Simultaneously, I get an email this morning from one of the news media groups we work with, and it starts out, "Happy Monday, Pat," right? Hope you had a great weekend. Reaching out one in it. But here's what it says. It says it's October, and we know that means we will be seeing some scary stuff. But want to know something truly scary? New report shows 42% of women say they have consistently felt burned out at work in 2021. That is an uptick. And by the way, that's not even the tip of the iceberg when you combine work with everything else going on in one's life. But what can you do? What happens when you're experiencing burnout, physical health, sleep issues, irritability, high blood pressure, depression, you name it, it shows up. But Mary Jane, here's the question. Up to this point, we've kind of been poking around with what to do about it, but you discovered something fascinating and powerful in Brain Tap, right?
Exactly. Well, it's really, we talk about physical issues all the time and what's going on in the body, and it really all starts in the brain. And through the last 10, 20 years, the chiropractic and functional medicine has focused on brain issues and brain health. And they realize that's where it's at. If you don't take care of the brain, the body just keeps repeating the same issues. It's like the hamster wheel. You just go round in circles. and that's why it's when I learned about this technology, about the brain tap and other technologies through the Master Circle, where they have like the top speakers, the top technology presentations. And I'm able to bring that to my clients, because without that, there is no way you could get out of the stress there is today. It's like my clients say to me all the time, why do I keep getting the gallbladder issue? Why do I keep my body aches? Why do I have all these issues? It's because you've trained your brain really well. And when your nervous system, it's the sympathetic and parasympathetic. The sympathetic is your adrenals. It's fight or flight. You're in overdrive. You're running all the time. That's when your body cannot heal. Unless your body can rest and rejuvenate, and you're always in that speed, your body cannot heal. It's the parasympathetic part of the nervous system. When that can take over, that's your healing part of the body. Yeah. And today, stress, it's never been like it is today.
No.
And it's like, even from little kids, from wearing masks to the stress of just facing other people and what's going on, and not talking about work, and women having families and having to work from home. Now they have to worry about school. What do they do with the kids for school? I mean, there's so many components to it that it's really a time. There's never been a better time for people to really learn what can help them and change their lives.
And and when we're talking about this kind of situation, let me just call it that, this kind of situation that we find ourselves in, it's not like it's new. It's not like we haven't been through stressful times before. But where we haven't been before is being bombarded with many, many, many layers of it. And one of the things that I'd love for you to talk about is the fact that, we're not even, I don't think, when I think about the millions and millions and millions of people, billions of people actually, that have been under the same level of stress to one degree or the other. And I think about the fact that this can be cumulative. The first place then is to get our minds right. I mean, if we don't have a way to do that, then I'm not sure how we begin to change the rest.
You can't. You can't. Unless you change your brain, your body will follow your brain. But if your body's going nowhere without changing your brain, changing your thought, that's what your thoughts make who you are. And if you think like most people, the stress, they're not well, they're, about everything fearful and not good, that's where they stay. So it's important to change those thoughts to what you want. You create your own reality. And you have to be reminded of this often because people don't remember. That's why the brain tap is so, when I learned about brain tap, I knew that was going to change people's lives.
Yeah.
It's been around a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I just hadn't used it.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I learned about brain tap and start telling my clients about it, it wasn't even an option. It was something they had to have if they wanted to change.
Yeah.
So, and most of my clients, I mean, when I recommend something, they know it's of value and it has changed their life.
Mm-hmm.
It's important to use brain tap. We'll talk about a little bit about what brain tap is, the technology. Yeah. So brain tap, you saw maybe Pat could take that out and show the headset. It's a headset. And the headset has light and sound. And you download programs to your iPad or phone. And when you download those programs, then you're able to put your headset on and then run a program. There are over 3,000 programs. So there's a program for anything you could possibly want, whether it's sleep, being awake, and that's what it looks like. And then it's the visor also has lights in it.
Yep.
And so because your eyes are the window to your brain, and those lights through your eyes stimulate your brain. It's different frequencies, different algorithms, different sound. It's very, very technical. And it's like there's a man's voice, there's also a woman's voice, but there's dual voices, and everything means something. It's like going into different parts of your brain to stimulate and open pathways to change your thinking. It's like stopping smoking, stopping drinking, for weight loss, there's even a gluten-free program in there. There's keto in there. There's every program you could possibly want in there that's been very effective in the past to help people get what they want. But when you hear everybody needs a coach, I've told my clients that for years, everybody needs a coach. And it's like for years, one of my first coaches was Wayne Dyer. And when I met Wayne Dyer, he changed my life. And it was how I used him for a coach. I bought his CDs and I played them over and over. And that's what you have to do to get that positive thought in there. The beauty of Brain Tap, it has so many programs in that unit that you could just change and grow, because every program has a different rhythm for your brain, different wavelength. So you're not, sometimes people will say, oh, I really like this one program, the Mountaintop. So I listen to that all the time. Well, that's not what it's meant to do. Each program builds on the other. And so again, the more programs you use, the more you're waking up your brain.
Let me just give everybody an example, because I want to because we're going to talk about the science of this, but I want to give them a real live example for me. People think that I'm one of these people that come by and I try like anything, like, oh, if it's out there, that's not me. And, you know, it takes me a while, right? And I've been doing this a long time. So I've been in front of so many different things and I've tried a lot of different things, especially if you're me and you've gone through a healing crisis. I mean, 6 months after starting the show, that's when mine began. And I was a skeptic and had to move from being skeptical about so many different things to really being willing to step out and experiment. But the one thing that I always had I struggled with was something that would work for me and my mind. And I have to tell you, I've been talking a little bit about what it was like to be me growing up and how I had some learning disabilities, which really are gifts today in the world. But for somebody like me, I'm no different than everybody else. I have a hard time maybe getting on my elliptical, or I have a hard time, you know, thinking about what is the right thing to eat. And this is funny. I remember the first time we borrowed the brain tap from you. And I put it on for the first time. And I think I turned on the exercise one. I can't remember exactly which one it was, right? They come in these beautiful bundles. And then within the bundle, you can go and you can look at wellness, weight wellness, optimal health, stress-free me, worry-free me, just to name a few. But I remember picking the one, I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was one about moving your body. And the way that it works is subtle until you recognize it. And so I finished it and that was it, went about my day. And the next thing you know, we're sitting on the couch and all of a sudden I get up and I say to Linda, I think I'm going to go use my Fit gym. Just like that. Now, did I use it for 5 hours? No, that's not the point. The point is I did something that I wouldn't have done before. And, you know, what I love about this is if you can't sleep at night, and boy, do you know how many people can't sleep at night, Mary Jane?
Mm-hmm. Oh, and if you
It's one
don't
of
get
the-
restorative sleep, you can't function.
You can't. And stress and brain fog. And I know we're going to talk about the science of this, but you know, when you take a look at the Braintype website, Braintypecom, they've done a really good job of really appealing to people from all different walks of life. And one of the things that I have a hard time doing when people ask me about it is explaining it to them. So I send it to them and I have them take a look at it. Maybe you don't need to wake up and exercise, right? But how about waking up with a positive mood? What do you think about that for brain tapping? Does that work?
Well, and what's great about it though is for the whole family.
Yeah.
It's for kids, for learning, it could be for ADD, it could be for any type of learning disability, any type of disability, anything. It doesn't matter because it actually changes the brain cells and regenerates the brain cells. And at one time, that was thought that couldn't happen. You couldn't regenerate brain cells. Now they're changing people with dementia, with Parkinson's, kids with concussions, with any brain injury. They're regenerating the brain. And the work that Dr. Porter does, he documents this and he has studies all over the world. Yeah. So it's not just a little gimmick, it's proven over and over and over again, the value in what it does. And actually soon it's because it's used by the major universities, major hospitals. Soon it's going to be recognized as even a medical device because it changes people and who they are.
And I think that will be the breakthrough that we need. I think the fact that I was talking with a friend of mine, David Essel, who started 3 different nonprofits because he realizes the effects of soldiers coming back and first responders. And he's created ways to get them help because part of the problem with industries like that is, and you know this, you're from this industry, right? You know, if you sit down with either a vet or somebody that's in the HR in the ER, it is a rare occasion they will say to you, I'm depressed, I'm going to need to get help, because those kinds of things in certain job functions really stigmatize people. And so they're looking for ways to really get themselves relief. And I think that one of the things that we get misunderstood, Mary Jane, I want to talk to you when we come back from break, is that while we're calling this guided meditation, not all the programs are for you to just lay down and be inactive. A lot of the programs are geared to you doing something, taking action, taking positive movement, moving forward. That's the cool thing about this. And that's really, really a clarification I want to make when we get back. Because every time you say the word meditation, people don't realize that there is something that happens when you do that. Brain tapping specifically, to me, is a motivational meditation. It's the thing that will help you, yes, calm your mind. But why? Why do you want to calm your mind? When we come back, we're going to talk about that. Why? Because you may need a reboot. You may need to reboot the thing that's going on in there. I have a funny feeling Facebook's doing a reboot. Let's take a short break. When we come back, Mary Jane's going to tell us more about the science. And I just want to let you know, if you want to find out more about this, you're going to be able to call Mary Jane Mack. We'll give you that number too when we come back. Stay tuned, everybody. We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Welcome back. Mary Jane Mack joining me here today. You know, one of the things we wanted to share is a follow-up interview to the interview she did with Dr. Porter. And Dr. Porter, of course, we know is the creator, the person behind Brain Tapping or Brain Tap. And if you want to find out more about all of what we're talking about, you can definitely go to braintypecom. But if you want to get the special offer that actually Mary Jane and Dr. Porter have extended, that is to call Mary Jane's office. And for those of you that listen to the show, you know it, right? And you know, you can just 888-777-4232. That's Mary Jane Mack's office number. Say hi to Nancy, 888-777-4232. And that's where you can get your brain tap, and you will get $100 off, I believe. Is that still true, Mary Jane?
$100 off and a 30-day free trial of all the programs.
Oh, that's
and
awesome.
the 30-day free trial is perfect because you get a little taste of everything.
Yeah.
And then you could decide what you want. I know quite a few of my clients, they just want all the programs. All the programs are $30 a month.
Yeah.
You get one set of program, it's $9.99. But you can change those programs anytime.
Yeah.
So it doesn't mean you have to. Yeah, you don't have to, but
no,
but you can still change them off, and it doesn't matter. You want to start and get them and just do it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that. You can start and just figure out what you like. The reason I started with the free one too.
Right.
And from the free one, then I decided, what I found with myself is, and you're going to talk about the science of this. What I found was I started to look, and I'm staring at my phone. If you're all wondering why I'm looking down, because I'm literally trying to look at my phone. One of the things I realized is that, I don't know, I think it's just me, because one day I'll like this thing, and then the next day I'll like another one. But I will tell you, I do have a go-to. I know you said to mix it up, but I do have a go-to that works every time. It doesn't matter what's coming on around me. Facebook's not working. It doesn't. I have to go to my enchanted forest.
Oh yeah, that's a favorite.
And I don't know why it's a favorite. And it doesn't matter when I take it, but you're going to tell us why this works so well. If people go to the website, braintap.com, they're going to see testimonials, they're going to see videos, they're going to see the science. But there is a science behind this. And, you know, up to this point, it's been really hard to harness the science for average people to have, right? I mean, a lot of the times you would have to go to a remote place, but this has been harnessed for everyone to be able to use. Tell us about the science and what it does to either wake us up and put us to sleep.
Well, it changes your brain pattern. Your brain has different rhythms. There's different levels. And so it's like the delta is the deeps, there's alpha and theta and delta for deep sleep. And what the different programs do is work on different levels of your brain. And so it's changing, integrating the right side of your brain to the left side of your brain and the left side to the right. So because most people are only using part of their brain, or they're not using much of their brain and their brain cells are actually dying. That's why people get dementia. That's why people can't remember. You walk in a room and you forget why you went in there. It's those common things that we think, oh, you hear it all the time. Oh, I'm getting old. I can't remember. I forget all the time. That's because your brain is so tired and stressed. Yeah. And when you talked about the vets before, Braintap did a study with the vets who worked with bomb dogs. And the incidence of bomb dogs getting cancer was extremely high because of all the chemicals and the stress that the handlers. So what they did this amazing study, and the vets just loved it because they had something that worked and calmed them down. And what they did with the dogs, they put the dogs next to them on a leash. They held the leash and did the brain tap, and the dog changed because of the vibration from them doing the brain tap. And they had unbelievable results. And the thing with brain tap, those studies are documented. They're all out there. You can find them. But another thing is you can look on YouTube for Patrick Porter and look at all the different videos there. But when you change your brain, it's like you're lighting it up. You're making a difference. And Patrick Porter talks about light, how important light is all the time. Yeah. In our office, we use light technology. And a lot of doctors use laser and different light. Use the light technology along with brain tap, it enhances it, especially for people with brain injuries, people who can't walk. But they do this with babies. For babies, what they have is a helmet that's got all the lights in it. And babies that, I've seen stories about babies who drowned in the tub, and now they lost all their brain function, and they're doing all the brain tap and different technology that by Sherrick Peck, the Pro Tuner, Resimex. We're going to have him on the show in November. But there's so much technology to stimulate the brain and the vagus nerve to make a difference so people actually can get better instead of repeating the same pattern and taking drugs that don't necessarily do what you want. They kind of dull you sometimes. There's nothing wrong with drugs when you need drugs, but drugs don't always make you better.
Oh, yeah. I mean, clearly, looking at the 2 brand new knees I got, there's certainly some medication that is important to get during that. But I just recently worked with my doctors to get off of one of them because there was a side effect I didn't understand. The point is this: it is hard when you have brain fog. And that's a term that we use a lot now, but it has a lot of meaning. And it's hard to make decisions. And one of the things that I think really works with BrainTap is the fact that this technology, especially the lights, help people reach, and this is my experience, a deeper meditative state than I could have done on my own. I mean, for me personally, I've tried many, many forms of meditation. And I just love that there's something like this that within minutes you could feel everything relax, or you could feel everything wake up. You know what I'm saying? So for people that are listening, they may not understand, they may be hearing us say meditation and they're
Yeah,
thinking,
it's
there they go. And what I want to be very clear about are all of the programs that are made available to us. There are ranges of them, anywhere from, I think, 9 minutes to 22, 25 minutes. And you can pick and choose, but the process begins almost immediately. And that really is very different for me.
yeah. And the and when it like meditation, you really have to work hard to meditate. I could never really meditate like a guru. I mean, I could hardly do it at all, as a matter of fact. But the thing with the brain tap, it's like meditation, but it's also like like hypnosis, guided hypnosis. And I'll tell you a story about when I was younger, I was addicted to Pepsi. I mean, I'm from Chicago. Pepsi was my thing. And I remember my dad during nurses training, when we were kids, of course, my parents never bought pop. You didn't have that. So when I was older in high school and nurses training, I started drinking Pepsi. And I just liked it. And my dad used to tell me, you got to quit drinking that stuff. That's dope. And I said, oh, Dad, no. I really didn't get it, how it was full of sugar and caffeine. And I'd go to bed at night. And I couldn't go to bed at night. This is after I'm married, unless I had Pepsi in the house, because I didn't drink coffee, but I'd have Pepsi in the morning. So when at one point, I found out about a hypnotist, and I went to this hypnotist, and I got hypnotized one time, and I stopped drinking Pepsi, just like that, boom. And when I listened to the brain tap, it's exactly what that reminded me of. It's exactly the same thing. So, and each time you listen to brain tap, you go to another level, you go deeper.
Yeah.
So, and that's the idea, is that you keep going deeper and deeper, and that's what goes into your brain and really changes your brain and helps you to be who you want to be. It's all about living your best life and being healthy and dealing with every people in your environment. And that's what I do. It's all about being the best you can be. And what I love about it, it has programs to teach you what to eat.
Yeah.
I mean, then they're easy. It's like the gluten-free or keto. They tell you exactly what to eat, but it's not difficult.
Yeah.
Then that you're able to follow those things and exercise, how to exercise. But it's exciting. The main thing is taking the stress off, changing people from doing the same thing over and over and over. And if they've been doing it for years, how's it working for you?
Well, and really that for me is, the timing of this, or for me to realize about this, and for the team and Jessica, of course, Linda, and a number of other people now that I know are getting brain tap. One of the things that I loved about it was, when you take a look at this, I want to get back to something you said, and then we'll take a short break. It's not just about losing weight or sleeping or eating. There is a bundle. They call them bundles. There are two that I go to them. I don't care. I don't care what's on my mind. I go right there. Stress-free me and worry-free me. Now, when you go there, you're going to have to look at this and you're going to say, well, wait a minute. Let me just give people an idea of what we're talking about, the diversity. So 9 times out of 10, when I've had devices like this, you get a couple of options, but just right here, how about committing to a balanced life, 12 minutes? How about health and well-being visualization, 12 minutes? Oh, wait, wealth and finances. Wow, right? Relationships, lifestyle, personal growth, career, environment, spiritual visualization. You can be the change, building your new thought generator, beyond positive thinking. I just want to read these to people, because I want folks
you're
to
right.
understand this. Because
Yes.
you just talk in generalization, and you're not going to find these on the website either. That's why I want to tell everybody about them. Is I'm just in one bundle, by the way. There's a sleep one, a weight one, an optimal health, a stress-free, worry-free children learning. So I just want to stay here for a minute. Operating in your optimal risk zone. I listened to that one. Okay, why? We're going to take a short break. When we come back, I want to tell you why. But here's a few more. Ask, believe, and receive visualization. 26 minutes. That is a
great
really
one.
good one. That is
It's
a good one. That is for any of you all out there that are like, no, I can't ask for my raise. No, I can't. No, I can't. Yeah. No, I can't ask that you turn the football game off. I can't. Whatever it is. Staying focused. Exercise. Just do it. That was the one that got me not only to get up and go do it, but to rearrange my garage. I really looked at this closely about which one, without saying, I didn't say, oh my gosh, I just listened to this. Now it just happened. Rearrange my garage, change the table, got a M9 trainer, and got on it. And I have to tell you, it's the hardest thing I've ever done, this trainer. It's not an elliptical. It's a combination between an elliptical and a stair thing. And when I got on it, and I could only qualify for about 2 minutes, I just kept getting on it. And one of the things I love is this helps us just keep getting on it, whatever it is. Let's take a short break. We'll be right back. Mary Jane Mack, Brain Tap. I wish, maybe we could get Dr. Porter back for a couple of these, but I just want everybody to know I'm only giving you like one bundle. When we come back, I'll talk a little bit more about the stress-free one, and then we'll talk about how this really, really works. Stay tuned, everybody. We'll be right back. Hey, everybody, welcome back. So great to have all of you tune us in and turn us on. Brain tapping with my very special guest today, Mary Jane Mack. Go to maryjanemack.com, not just about brain tapping, but to really tap into what Mary Jane has been doing for so many people all over the world. How to create the life that you want, whether that's medical intuitive coaching, whether it's service to heal, whether it's about your animals, because that's a whole nother show we can do. But more importantly, when you come across discoveries like this, and then you bring them in your office as she has done, and you're watching people shift and change. And this is what's so exciting for many people. I don't know if you all were listening during the break, if you're watching over on YouTube, but one of the things we were talking about is that you may not see drastic results immediately, but you will see something change. And Mary Jane, they can call your office. And I just want to make sure everybody knows, call the office 888-777-4232 and talk to Nancy about the brain tap and also the special offer on the unit right now. Mary Jane, look, during the break, we were talking about many things. And what I was really struck by was I noticed that we don't talk enough about the number of different programs in here. And, when I talk to people, I bring up my phone and I say, take a look at this, look at all this. Yes, of course you could do your mountaintop retreat, but how about gifts found in accepting challenges to your heart? How about activating the magnetic power of your dreams? How about becoming a personal success magnet? How about, oopsie, my favorite, create your enchanted forest? Now I got to tell you, if I do the enchanted forest, I better be in bed. That's not a wake up one for me. But then they go on, and I just want to be clear with people because this is about every aspect of us. And that's why I was drawn to it. I mean, I had to get past the word meditation to understand this is more about motivation. This is more about action. And, take charge, step the fast track to success, eliminate negative thinking.
It's so amazing. They're all such great. When you first look at these, it's really kind of hard to, where do I start? And that's where Patrick Borders says, just start at the beginning if you don't know. Or I always tell people, go where what attracts you. I mean, just, you don't need somebody to tell you, just go for what you're attracted to. And then from that, it just flows. It just flows because programs are, I mean, they just motivate you, make you feel good. And what I love, it's not just you, it's your whole family.
Yeah.
You know, it's kids, and whatever age. And my granddaughter, she does twice a day faithfully, and loves it. So, and she picks out her own programs. So along with BrainTap, remember, it's about living the best life you can and eating well and exercising and doing all the things that make a difference. Whether you just go out for a walk, improving your brain and function is one major thing for that. But you have to do some basic things and put that together in order to live your best life. You know, people think that they could still eat all this junk and all this stuff. You can't do that. You gotta, it's why you're in the trouble you are.
Yeah.
So, and you can never eat enough of the right food. And that's why we use Biotics nutritional supplements at the office to repair the body and get the body back to health. So we have a total package. It's like when you get the whole package together and I'm your coach, then you really have great results.
Yeah.
And that's why what I do is so much fun.
And
Yeah.
that's what I want to point to too. I mean, I know we're talking about brain tapping, but I also want to talk about the fact that, you know, you're my health coach. And so when we work together, it isn't just about brain tapping. You know, it is, this is out of alignment for you, or this is out of alignment. And so we have to look at the holistic part of this. And, you know, Mary Jane, it took me to get really, really sick before I realized that I need coaches for different things. It really took me to that point to being brought to my knees. And the reason I think that you and I talk about it so much is we want to say to our audience, don't wait for yourself to get to that. You know, don't wait for the fact that, you know, you can't pick yourself up. I mean, this is enough right now for everybody out there. What we just right now, where we are, everything we've experienced, that's enough. You don't really have to break, you know, to be able to realize you need help. And isn't that part of all of what you do?
Exactly. We want to do preventative, but there's so many out there that are hurting and not in very good shape that really, they don't realize how they can get back on track, just get on the fast track, like it says in BrainTap, and step into success, step into being the person you're meant to be. It's like, don't wait, for heaven's sakes. It's not getting better. Things are just getting more chaotic out there. And so when we get you, I put the whole program together for you. And if I think you need a brain tap, I'm going to recommend it. I mean, that's what I do. It's like, whatever I think you need, it's not about selling things. It's about giving you everything you need to be the best you can be.
And, you know, part of this is, you know, being able to get some guidance and coaching as to what the next steps are. You know, a lot of times we don't know what those steps are. And I know that if you don't feel well, you don't know what you don't know. And I think that the key to me, even being here today, is the fact that I've trusted, you know, I've trusted in a handful of people that both on, you know, what people say holistic and allopathic sides of the house here, where I've learned from my holistic experience how to ask my doctors better questions. And I think that that's something we don't talk about enough. We don't talk about what level of wisdom looking at the whole person brings to the forefront to help us even in serious illness. And, you know, part of the other thing that I want to say, there's actually a clarity. It's not called Clarity, but there's actually a program here that you could download to help you, right, make decisions. I just think we're so far beyond trying to roll the boulder up our hill ourselves. What do you think?
You know, I think it's an exciting time for people to have tools to change, regenerate their brain. and help them get through life and be better. And not only them, but their whole family. To me, that's exciting. That's why I do what I do, is to bring great technology, get people out of where they are and make a difference.
Mary Jane, I want to just make sure we get this in. How do people find out more about you? How do they find out more about all the things we're talking about that you do? Whether it's nutrition, whether it's light therapy, it doesn't matter. You really have it all for people, both in the office, but also remotely for people.
Right. Well, we do mostly Zoom calls now because of COVID, or phone calls. We often will, sometimes we have people come in the office if they're local. If they need some light technology or need some other work, I do cranial release technique. So it depends on the situation, but I'm open to that. But most of our things are Zoom or phone. But I can figure out whether it's emotional, physical, structural. I can refer you to chiropractors or anywhere where you are in the country if you need other body work, whether it's Feldenkrais. But I'm able to tune into that and not just and do what I do, but guide you to what's the best of the next step that you need to do. Because it's a whole package. You got to do the whole package to get better.
I think those of us that really experience a healing crisis at some point in times in our lives, or, for me, I like to look at it, my healing journey. I knew I didn't get there overnight, although it seemed like it was overnight. It seems like one day I was great, the next day I wasn't. What I've come to learn is I could have done some things, which I do now, that help build strength, both body, mind, emotionally, and spiritually. And that's what you help people with. Mary Jane, thank you for today. A few more things, please. What's your personal message? What do you want to leave folks with? And I want to make sure that if people want to find more about Braintype, they can call your office.
I would like people to know to not wait, to take action and step up to dreaming big and being who you were meant to be. I mean, it's never been a better time for your own self to learn to stand in your own personal power, whether it's at work, whether it's in your family, it doesn't matter. It's about standing in your personal power and being the best you can be.
And I just want to give the number to everybody. If you want to schedule time with Mary Jane, get a consult, you can do that too, separate and apart from Braintype. It's the same number. It's 888-777-4232. And by the way, if you have any questions about anything we've talked about here today, it's a short interview to try to get the whole story in about Braintype. It's just, in 1 hour, it's really hard to really talk about this.
Yeah, we are going to have Dr. Porter back probably in January.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so everybody, please go ahead and go to braintype.com and maryjanemack.com. Thank you all for tuning us in and turning us on.